This is your Fox 10 News Now update.
And I'm Lenise Lagan with your Fox 10 News Now update. We continue to keep track of the coronavirus pandemic, the world marking another grim milestone. The number of cases around the world has passed 50 million. That is according to data from Johns Hopkins University. More than 1.2 million people have died from COVID-19 globally. Almost 20% of the deaths have been here in the United States. Well, a big announcement today about a possible COVID-19 vaccine. Pfizer says early data signals its vaccine is 90% effective against that virus. The company making the announcement just this morning. In a news release, the pharmaceutical giant says it plans to seek emergency use authorization from the FDA soon after volunteers have been monitored for 2 months after getting their second dose of the vaccine. All right, some big SEC football news. Auburn's matchup against Mississippi State this weekend has been postponed. There's been a COVID outbreak among several state players who are now in quarantine. That's all according to Auburn's AD. At this time, the game has been rescheduled for December 12th. And the bigger news here is the feature game for this weekend. LSU, the defending national champs, and #1 ranked Alabama could be in jeopardy of being postponed too. LSU's head coach saying the number of his players, including some identified starters, have COVID and they're now in quarantine. It's the second time the virus has disrupted LSU's schedule. It had to move a game with Florida from October to December because of some Gator players then having COVID-19.
All right, let's take a look at what's going on with Ada here. The system undergoing some transformations in intensity today. Most of this a positive thing because it is weaker, but starting to see the inner core redevelop here. It's really starting to work its way back to the southwest pretty rapidly here, and it's a little bit more compact than it was over South Florida. And taking a look at it, southwest motion at 16, winds at 50, pressure 995, which is relatively high for a tropical system. It may be starting to get its act together again, at least temporarily, but there is an issue for Ada, and that is that it is surrounded, especially over the western flank, with deep layer dry air, and the intrusion of dry air is likely going to be a problem for Ada at times going forward, along with some upper level wind shear. Now this week you've got an upper ridge, a mid to upper level ridge to the east, and that is trying to steer this system generally northward. Okay, so you got a clockwise flow around this high pressure area. Over here to the south and to the west, we've got a feature that's trying to shove it back to the south with that same clockwise flow. So one high is trying to push it to the south, the other one's trying to push it to the north, and the result is pretty much nothing. We're not going to get a lot of motion out of this week. Maybe a little drift to the north with the ridge to the east being a little stronger. So look at it and you can see, okay, well, it looks like it's coming right at us. But we got to think about what this is, because looking at the intensity, National Hurricane Center has it as a depression off of Apalachicola by Saturday. And if this feature stays to our south and east, we'll still be on the dry side of it. We'll keep watching it. We are in the cone, but it's also expected to be a very weak system once it gets over the cooler waters of the northern Gulf, and along with a lot of wind shear in the northern Gulf through time. Here's a look at today's highs, hitting 82, close to records. 83 is a record for today. Have cracked a record in Pensacola. So yeah, extraordinarily warm, and temperatures in the low 80s by the afternoon. Looking ahead, we've got Veterans Day here on Wednesday, rain chance at 40% there. We'll watch that. No sign of any Ada trouble over the weekend, but this forecast could be amended a bit if we do get some impacts there as far as rainfall out of a weaker tropical system. Stay tuned. We'll have the latest here on Fox 10.
Stay tuned to Fox 10 News throughout the day for the latest updates. This has been your Fox 10 News Now update.